Jim Jones, known to many as a notorious cult leader and led almost 1,000 of his followers to their death. Jones founded People's Temple Church in 1955 with the focus of equality for all in a time of discrimination. This church started to become less of a religion and more of a cult when Jim Jones convinced 1,000 of his members to pick up their lives and move to Guyana to create Jonestown. At Jonestown, the conditions were not how they were advertised, and eventually Leo Ryan, a congressman, decided to investigate and discovered that many people wanted to leave.
Your wish today?
To go back home.
And where's home?
U.S.
The day that Ryan and some of the members decided to leave, Jim Jones asked all of his members to commit an act of mass suicide. The members drank a drink laced with cyanide, and all who drank died. This event was a tragedy, but did the issues Jones faced as a child contribute to the person he became in his last years of life? Let's take a deeper look into the childhood of Jim Jones. Many people will have a couple events during their childhood that have had a negative effect on who they are, such as a parent's divorce, lack of friends, not a great support system, and plenty of other factors. Jim Jones not only encountered one of these struggles, but he encountered multiple of these struggles. When Jones was very young, his family got evicted from their house and were forced to live on the streets until relatives let them stay in their homes. This event took a toll on the family and was the start of the problems that Jones had with his parents. His father neglected him, and Jones was actually terrified of his father. His mother wasn't the best influence for a child because she smoked, cussed often, and would voice her opinion even when it wasn't appropriate. She also had a factory job, which caused her to not be home to take care of Jones a lot, so Jones spent a lot of time alone without a parent watching him. At the age of 6, members of the town recalled Jones roaming the streets alone. Jones not only had issues with both of his parents, but his parents also had issues with each other. When Jones was 14, his parents got a divorce, which only deepened the divide between him and his father. Jones moved in with his mother, and he lacked communication with his father. Aside from Jones' family life, he also struggled socially in the towns he lived in. He didn't have many friends in high school, and lots of people in his town considered him odd. All of these events and circumstances that Jones dealt with can be connected to the person he later became. Obviously, what Jones went through would take a toll on the mind of any person. Not many can say that they have dealt with that much mental confusion and trauma. Every event he experienced can be tied back to the person he later became. Jones later went on to become a person who desired love and affection because he never got that as a child. He used the members of his church to fill that need for love. Jones also became controlling because in his childhood he was never in control of his destiny due to the family issues, living on the streets, and lack of friends. His controlling nature shines through, especially when he verbally abused his members, forced them to stay in Jonestown, and convinced them all to commit an act of mass suicide. Jones also became a paranoid person in the last years. He was constantly afraid that everyone was out to get him. In his childhood, he was never in a stable situation, and there was probably constant fear of what could happen at any moment. This could be a reason why he became such a paranoid and fearful person because of the experiences he had as a child. What is most evident in Jones' later life is that he could never differentiate between what was right and wrong, probably because his parents were never a great role model on him as a child. Jones turned to alcohol to try to fix his problems, and thought it was okay to keep members in awful conditions and again force them to commit suicide. And Jones thought that all of this was okay in his mind. What Jones and people experience as a child can be connected to how they act later on, and everything in Jones' past seems to line up with who he became. Jones experienced so much during his childhood that it eventually caught up to him. All of his issues piled up, therefore creating the monster the world knows of today. It is not just the one event that created who he became, it is the combination of every single thing he experienced as a child. Children are moldable and susceptible to so much when they are young. Maybe Jones wouldn't have been turned into a cult leader, alcoholic, abuser, and killer if he would have had a better childhood. It would be fair to say that if Jones would have had a better child life, 918 people would not be dead today because of him.